Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome to Doom Patrol, the show I've been meaning to start on the channel for the longest time, for the past month and a half, if not 2 months. Since I saw the Doom Patrol episode on Titans, since I reacted to the Doom Patrol episode on Titans, I've been meaning to actually watch this show. That was, I believe, like a good couple of months ago. So we're finally here. Not late at all. You know, season 2's already come out, already finished, to my knowledge. Totally on time. Totally arrived on time to the party. But I'm finally here. Doom Patrol. And yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff. About this show. The simplest, broadest comparison I've heard about this show, heard being made about this show, is that this is to the DC universe, like Titans and whatnot. Like, this is to that universe what Legends is to the Arrowverse. Like, it's wacky, it's funny, it's all over the place, but it's just really, really fun to watch. So, needless to say, I'm looking forward to this. This is not the same Doom Patrol as the one from Titans. That was clarified fairly early on, and even by audiences too. So, the writers, I should say, the creators, they actually clarified that this Doom Patrol actually takes place in a separate universe where Gar was never part of them. The Doom Patrol we had on Titans, Gar was originally a part of, but this one has Cyborg instead, I believe, and there's also one other character I've heard is actually a part of this show, but that's like a whole other thing. So yeah, not the same as the Titans Doom Patrol, very different one, but for the most part, it's still Robot Man, it's still Negative Man, I believe his name is, and Rita as well, stuff like that. But yeah, just no Gar. So yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what this is all about, how this kind of, you know, makes its stand within the DC TV universe, seeing how it unfolds and what it's all about. So yeah, Brendan Fraser, he voices Robot Man, so that's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing. I haven't seen him in anything for a long, for the longest time. So I'm intrigued to see what his return to the small screen, I guess you could say. TV shows are usually small screen, so yeah, I'm intrigued to see what his return to the small screen is like, and just seeing what this show has got to offer overall is going to be. So yeah, so this is my reaction to the pilot. I will be reacting to this entire season and season 2 when I get to it. So you guys can hopefully enjoy that. Hopefully enjoy watching the show along with me. Speaking of which, if you guys want to check out the full length reaction to this episode, the full unedited, uncut reaction along with me, then you can find that over at Patreon. The link will be down description or comments, so you can go check that out there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. And the Chief is different too. The Chief in Titans was played by a different guy, but the Chief in this show is played by Timothy Dalton. So yeah, I've seen him in a couple of stuff. He's a pretty good actor. So I'm, you know, curious to see what he's like in this. But yeah, that's basically it. So episode 1, the pilot of Doom Patrol. Let's go.
Ready to feel better about your own miserable lives for the next hour or so?
Sure, I've got nothing else to do.
Death! Must be Sturm von Führer von Fuchs. Martinez.
Death from Supernatural.
Sorry.
I forgot the actor's name. Julian Richings, I think. Yeah, Julian Richings.
Who's the fox?
Giselle!
He's bangaranging.
Who's the fox?
Is that Giselle? Is he bangaranging Giselle? I feel like he's bangaranging Giselle. You shouldn't cheat on your wife, Cliff. It's bad.
Crash and die, babe.
I love you too, honey.
That's a healthy marriage. So is this the... Is this the race that puts him out and into a robot body?
And guess what I never have to say when I'm banging big old bombs? Is it in yet?
Oh, damn. Ooh. September 1995.
Fuck. 1995. No, wait, what's that?
Clifford the Big Red Robot. Oh, damn. Yeah, very different without the clothes.
Hey, what was it like getting buried in a pyramid with your cat?
A sense of humor helps here, so you'll work on that.
Hey, what's your story?
Larry trained
Anna, Julie McNiven. Damn, a lot of supernatural stars in this. Well, 2 supernatural stars in this. Yeah, 2 supernatural stars. Whoa. Oh, damn. He got a Fantastic Ford. He got a Fantastic Ford. Oh, no. Does he crash too? Does he crash too and then... Yep, he crashed. He crashed. The energy saved his life.
Larry crawled from the wreckage that day, forever changed. In
Whoa.
ways that would take him decades to even begin to understand.
Oh, damn.
Has anyone ever left this place?
Some have. Some come and go. Others, like Larry and Rita, prefer to stay.
You were in the movies?
Pictures.
The pictures, the motion pictures.
Lovely Rita. Queen of 50
Yeah, she came into like something
Some
toxic in the
critics called
water,
her
didn't
the
she?
poor man's Deborah Kerr.
Yeah, I remember
Some
that.
critics
He's an eyesore, Charles. A real liability.
What if we cover up the arm? A different set of clothes?
Get rid of him.
But the crew, they adore him.
Of course. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, there's that toxic stuff. There's the toxic stuff. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, use those memories. Walk up the steps. Oh. Oh, so sweet. So sweet. It's a good sign that his memories are coming back too. Yeah, more of them. Yeah, and they're more interactive now. Keep your eyes on the road, Cliff. For God's sake. Jeez, you think he'd learn the first time? You think he would learn the first time?
I'm afraid you were the only survivor.
Oh, so that was real. Wait, that was real. No way, that was a real memory. Ah, crap.
Meet Jane. Some people
Jane.
call her Crazy Jane. 64 personas, each with its own special power.
64 personalities.
For example, here comes Sylvia.
She's in a mood.
Which one of her is in a mood?
What the
64 personas.
is that?
Hammerhead, this is Cliff.
Diane Guerrero from Orange is the New Black.
Is he a toy?
Hammerhead.
Oh, damn.
Are you a toy? In the wee hours of the night when you think no one's watching?
Anyone ever tell you to shut your fucking hole?
Or what?
He doesn't feel
Toy
pain.
bot does what?
Well, she's interesting.
How long you been busting the Chiefs' balls?
Long before you got here. 70s.
Ah.
You know
So
how it
she
is when
came
you're
and
the
went.
chief
She was one of the ones who came and went.
best.
I'll be back in a few days.
Bye, Dad.
So can you just get like a private jet or something? Do they have a private jet?
Larry!
Don't.
Larry!
Larry. Okay, that's a cool new design for the bus though. Yeah, ditch the classic yellow, go for a silver grey.
You know that's crazy. You even talk like her. You know that?
Oh, she is being
Rita
recognized.
Farr,
Yeah.
actress from the 50s.
Sit. Tell me.
But my dad. No.
No, just tell me about how much you love my stuff. Just tell me that.
And there was that whole porn thing. What?
Rita Farr.
Oh, trust me. My dad had duffel bags full of the stuff.
She did
Your
porn?
father said Rita Farr was doing porn.
Or maybe like a duplicate, a doppelganger maybe. Oh no. No, the destabilization.
Your shitty driving. Wife Kate decapitated. Daughter Clara sole survivor.
Shut up, Jane.
There are 3 Clara Seals in
His
the
daughter
United States.
My
survived?
daughter's dead.
Let's find out.
No!
Oh. Oh.
Asshole!
The truth is, Larry Traynor had felt like a monster long before he ever was one.
Oh, there's the blob. There's the... Ooh. Oh, no, there's the blob. Oh. That's one of her personalities? Turning into the frickin' sun? Oh, lift up the ground. Lift up the ground. Oh, damn. Yeah, stop her in her path. Stop her dead in her path.
I want to go home.
Oh, there's Rita.
We can do that.
There's Rita. Oh, Jesus. Chief's gonna hear about this. There's no way the Chief can miss this. Yeah. Oh.
It's totally fine.
Whoa, what's coming?
Paraguay.
Paraguay.
Niles. Paraguay.
Oh, it's him.
Paraguay.
It's Morden, Mr. Morden.
Morden.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, jeez, he's literal pieces. He's literal glowing pieces, and there's this thing, the goat, or whatever the fuck it is. It's a very toxic goat. That's a gas cloud. The mind is the limit. Yeah. The mind is the limit. Yeah, it was just there for that.
I've been admiring. They are quite doomed.
What the fuck indeed? Is that a wormhole? Or a black hole? Or a sinkhole? Some kind of hole. It's some kind of hole. Some kind of hole. Okay. That is the end of that particular episode. So much happened in that one episode. I don't know. I feel like I watched at least 2 episodes. I feel like I legitimately watched at least 2 episodes worth of stuff. That was so long for an intro, so long for a pilot. Yeah, jeez, Louise, lemon squeezy. Like, I've literally filled my page up with notes. That's how much actually happened in this, or at least how much I took away, which I guess the more you take away from it, the more informative and more, story and character content an episode has. But I don't know, yeah, it felt like it was at least 2 episodes worth of stuff. It felt like, it felt like the entire third act could have been, or at least everything from 2019 onwards could have been saved for a second episode. Yeah, before pre-2019 could have been its own episode, showing like the birth of the Doom Patrol, and then 2019 onwards could have been its own episode. It definitely felt like once I got to 2019, I thought so this must be where we end off then. So the next episode, so then it catches us up with what's happened up until now, and then once it gets to the present day, it's like, okay, then episode 2 will be, okay, so what's the team actually doing in the present day? But then it actually just goes in to show us what the team's doing in the present day regardless. But yeah, there was so much to take in. It was a fun pilot, don't get me wrong. It was a super, super fun pilot. Felt like first and second act, a lot of it felt like it revolved around Cliff. Cliff definitely felt like the main character here, or at least the lead. Yeah, Cliff definitely felt like the lead, given how much of his accident we saw and how much of his rehabilitation we saw. Like, the only person we really saw rehabilitation for was him. Like, him learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again and think again and actually do stuff again, which, again, super duper cool. I think that might be one of my favorite aspects of this episode and about Cliff's kind of development post-accident and being in his new robot body. The fact that that they show us that he's not just going to jump back into normal life straight off the bat. He has to actually learn to be himself again, learn to be a functioning living being, pretty much, because his brain was the only thing salvageable from the accident. and it was put into a new body, and he has to learn how to how to live in the new body again. So yeah, it was very, very different. Yeah, the walking, the talking, the thinking, everything, it was awesome. It was awesome, really, really good kind of characterization points, and a lot of build up, a lot more kind of, development for Robot Man and for Cliff's character. So that was super cool, and especially that memory he had of helping his daughter walk up the stairs, and using that memory, like interacting with that memory, to actually progress in real life too. Like up until then, using like Zimmer frames and using the handlebars and everything. So that was really, really sweet. But then we do see Cliff's life before the accident, and yeah, they threw us a red herring. They threw us or at least, I mean, I don't know how it went. I mean, I assume this is the way it maybe went in the comics, or I don't know how it went in the comics, but depending on whether or not, depending on whether or not it went this way in the comics, they threw the viewers a red herring, like, oh yeah, it was just that one race car accident on the tracks, and then it was, done right then, like that's where his life seemingly stopped, and then he was resurrected by the chief. But no, he actually did manage to survive that accident. He actually managed to somehow survive, being crushed by another race car. And then it was after that the second chance he got to actually, get his wife and his kid back, and then driving them along the road. And again, he just didn't learn. He didn't learn the second time either. Keep your eyes on the road when you're at the wheel, especially when you're the driver. Keeping your eyes on the road is imperative. Like, turning side to side, sure, that's doable once you're a qualified driver. But then actually, to turning your head fully back and just looking behind you all the way and stuff like that when the road is directly ahead of you is not a good sign. Even his wife had to call his eyes back to the road to be aware of the massive piss off lorry in front of them that decapitated them both. Like it decapitated him without a doubt, and then from that accident, the second one, only his brain was salvageable, which I'm surprised even at that. Like, so the rest of his body was nowhere near salvageable, but then his head, yeah, I mean, I guess so, yeah. So his head was his head, and then his brain inside was still, intact and usable and resurrectable for a Cliff Steele 2.0. His wife did not make it at all, and then he was led to believe by the chief that his daughter didn't survive either, when in fact his daughter was actually reported to be the sole survivor. So he went decades thinking his daughter was dead. Yeah, he went decades thinking his daughter was dead, and that he was the only survivor. And well, yeah, because it was once he actually learned to walk again that he actually told Chief that he wanted to go back to do it. But then the chief played him those the audio tapes, and then he found out that his daughter didn't survive. So yeah, so then he must have doctored those audio tapes to be like, I mean, because I can't remember if it was him saying or if it was an actual autopsy report saying it, but he must have doctored those tapes to say that that Cliff was the only survivor, because then they mentioned that the daughter was dead too, but then that was a lie. That was proven to be a lie. So yeah, I don't know, but Cliff Steele, Robotman, he was a man of great infidelity. He was, when his wife was too busy on the treadmill and his kids were crying, he was too busy bangarang the knees. Nanny. I said nanny. He was not a Lannister. He was not that kind of guy. He was too busy bangarang in the nanny. He was too busy banging the nanny. So that then then his wife knew, and then tried to distract him on the track. So she even whispered in his ear, "Crash and die." So she tried to distract him on the track by pretending to have a thing with his. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was pretending, but either way, she confessed to Cliff on the tracks that she hit that she and his racing partner, manager, whatever, had a thing too. So then he broke the dude's face with a bottle, so broke his nose with a bottle, so that was that. But yeah, that definitely threw me for a loop. I definitely thought that race car thing, especially because it was in Doom Patrol. I mean, yeah, it's a different universe, so I shouldn't rely too much on the Titans' interpretation of Doom Patrol. It's two different versions, two different universes. But yeah, I was thinking, like, in Titans, like, they actually didn't mention he was a race car driver who got caught in an accident, so then they didn't say. I mean, to be fair, they didn't specify what accident. They didn't specify that it was actually like an accident on the tracks. They didn't, they didn't specify anything. He was just like his profession a race car driver, and he had an accident. So any logical person would put 2 and 2 together, like, oh, maybe he died on the job. But no, in reality, he died out on the road, just like a family driving thing. And then he was led to believe he was the only sole survivor, but his daughter is out there too. So yes, yeah, because of a lot of that, Cliff definitely seemed like a leading character. Like a lot of this episode revolved around him, which kind of, again, that's why I feel like this would have been the amount of story in this episode would have actually been better as two separate stories. So the first half leading up to 2019, the first episode leading up to 2019, and actually, you know, giving us ample time with the other characters' accidents and their stories too. Like, you know, I feel like Rita's one was just really brushed over somewhat, and then we got a little further development with Larry's one. He was an Air Force pilot. He came into contact with some kind of energy in outer space that changed him. But he also crashed and burned, similar to Cliff. He also crashed and burned. But then the energy saved his life. So then, yeah, we saw further memories that showed he actually had some kind of a smooching affair with a co-pilot or something, like with one of his colleagues. He actually had a smooching affair with him. So he was hiding that secret. And I think that was a lovely parallel line. Like, even before he became the negative man, he already saw himself as a monster because of social attitudes to such identities and whatnot. So that's horrible more than anything. So then he lived with that. So then, yes, I mean, they kind of extended it for that one, and then they showed like a different interpretation. I think then afterwards they showed the real one. So he didn't actually start getting up immediately and walking towards the truck. He actually was still on the ground burning away, and then the same partner he was kissing actually fanned him down and tried to put the fires out. But then I think the point still stands that the energy actually still saved his life somehow, and actually gave him whatever kind of enhancements. But then the energy is still inside him, and it left him when they were in the town, and then it did some stuff. It's absorbed the electricity, and then went around doing something else. So he can lose stability too. Like, he can lose stability, and the energy can leave his body and do some other stuff with it. So that's that. And then, of course, Rita, she was the 50s movie star who was a bit discriminatory herself. She was being quite a bit ableist towards the original cameraman, the one with only one working arm. And she made her feelings very well known towards the director. And so they replaced the guy, and then you could see, even among the rest of the crew, people who actually recognized and identified her behavior as discriminatory and treated her differently as such. And then she had that same thing we saw in the flashbacks in Titans. She actually fell into the water and had some contact with some other kind of toxic thing, like chemical or one. I mean, this one, like, she was plucking at the rocks, and then it came out of the rocks. I remember, I know I saw that. It actually came out of the rocks at her. So it's something from the earth itself. It's not really, it's toxic still, but it's something from the earth that came into contact with her, and then you know, her cells destabilized, and she turns into this massive moving blob, and she has to my knowledge, she has to maintain a high calorie diet to maintain cellular stability and to actually maintain her kind of structure and like appearance and whatnot, and her figure. So yeah, so that stuff is still the same. Then we had Crazy Jane, played by Diane Guerrero. I've seen her on well, the only other thing I've seen her in is Orange Is the New Black, and she was great in that. So I am surprised to see her in a superhero element, in more of a sci-fi element. I'm intrigued to see. I mean, in this pilot alone, she did great, actually playing different, like 3 different personalities, like Crazy Jane, then Hammerhead, and then Hangman's daughter, who's just depressed, and Hammerhead, who's just constantly pissed off everything. So far she's done a great job, but she has 64 personalities living inside of her. So she's like James McAvoy's character in Split. Like, I think he had like 60 or 70 personalities living inside him. He had like that kind of personality disorder thing. But yeah, with this one, I think that you can actually see a visible change. There's some kind of like an energy glitch, or like a a kind of like there's actually like a visual effect that takes place whenever she switches from personality to personality, and then that signifies that she's in like a new mindset now. So 64 personality. Yeah, that kind of thing would have been cooler. Like, like taking the first episode to, introduce these characters and to actually show like how they're like what accidents happened to them, and because like we haven't seen her accident just yet. We haven't seen what makes her able to hold 64 personalities or where these personalities all came from. But yeah, I assume in the future we might get that kind of that kind of story, but for now we are just given the information that she has 64 personalities, and we're introduced to three of them. So yeah, I guess we'll see in the future what the rest of her personas are. But yeah, Diane Guerrero's Crazy Jane. I'm looking forward to that. I'm intrigued to see what she's like. But yeah. No, but she was she came in the 70s, and she wasn't around for very long. I think she came and went. She probably came in because she said she was actually before Cliff. She was actually there before Cliff. She came in the 70s. And the chief mentioned that some people do come and go. Some people similar to him and Rita, to Cliff and Rita, and Larry actually do come and go. But then those that go do find that the world treats them differently after they've been rehabilitated and like reborn into whatever new life that they're given by the chief. So yeah, and it's a very different chief. I noticed that too. It's a very, very different chief. Like in Titans, like, the chief was quite like manipulative and quite like abusive in like on some level. Like, he was like just really, really heavily chastising Gar for bringing Rachel around to the house, like bringing a stranger around to the house, and for leaving the house in the first place too. And even experimenting on Rachel when she didn't consent to, when she didn't want to. Like that chief was very, very different, much more dangerous seeming. But this one, he doesn't seem abusive as much. He seems like he just really wants the team to actually heed his warnings, and he's actually there to help them. He's there to rehabilitate them, and he's there to keep the ones who actually stay safe and stuff like that. So it's just the first episode, so for all we know, in the future he could there could be like a darker side to him we haven't seen yet. Like he's the one who has all of this knowledge on how to rehabilitate these people who have gone through these freak accidents, but he doesn't seem to have any powers or abilities himself. So I don't know if that or his evil dark side is something we'll see in the future. But for now, he is just like the kind of mentor and the kind of the rehabilitator of the entire team at Doom Manor. Doom Manor, that's a cool name. So they haven't officially branded themselves as the Doom Patrol yet. They haven't officially come out with that name just yet. But they are a team. Minus Cyborg as of yet. But Crazy Jane is a great first addition to the team. She's a great first addition. So basically the Fantastic Four at this point. Basically DC's Fantastic Four at this point. So that's really, really cool. But yeah, we met the guy at the beginning, Alan Tudyk, playing Mr. Morden, and he was a bad guy. He declared himself as a bad guy from the beginning, but he was like typically like a henchman, like a nobody. So then he volunteered his body for experimentation by the Nazi guy, by the guy played by Julian Richings, by Death and Supernatural. He volunteered his body for that kind of experimentation, and then he was made to repeat a phrase. He was made to repeat like the mind is the limit. He was made to repeat until the actual energy thing happened, and then he was literally split into pieces. Not even like limbs, but like literally even his face was fractured into different kind of fragments of his body, and then some pieces went missing. And even in the present day, we see there's a glowing energy around him, and there's his parts of his chunks of his body are missing, and other parts are just like hovering fractures, just barely managing to stay intact as he moves. So he's like an energy figure almost, like a, I don't know how to describe him. He's the villain. He's very, very clearly the antagonist. The way he narrates this episode alone, and the way he actually is intent on causing harm and fighting back against the Doom Patrol. And he has that goat. There's that goat too, the one with the toxic farts and stuff, the one that actually farted out the gas cloud line, the mind is the limit, or the the limit is the mind. I think it's either one of those. Is that a phrase? But I don't know what one of the words are in. But yeah, Alan Tudyk as the villain. Interesting choice. Haven't seen him as the villain in very many things, but I've seen Alan Tudyk in a few things. He's great too. Great too. I think this show alone has a lot of like great actors, like Timothy Dalton, Brendan Fraser, Alan Tudyk, Diane Guerrero. I think Matt Beaumont. I haven't really seen him in much. And April Bowlby, the woman who plays Rita. I haven't seen her in anything else either. So yeah, Matt Beaumont. I'm aware he's been in other things, but I haven't actually seen those other things. And April Bowlby, this is to my knowledge, this is the first thing I'm seeing her in, besides from Titans. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, Alan Tudyk is. I think he called himself Mr. Nobody. I think he referred to himself as like Mr. Nobody, or just like a nobody. Like he was nobody. He was just like a henchman before all this. So now, with this new experimentation thing, he gets the chance to actually be a villain. He gets the chance to be someone, and he's definitely like an enemy of the chief. So yeah, so he's come back. He's invaded Cloverton, the town, and he is gonna get ready to make his stand. So that'll be fun to watch. And yeah, it's good to see that we actually get to meet this chief properly as well. Like the chief in Titans, we didn't really get to meet him or see who he was, besides from being the chief and the one who saved all these people. But this one, we actually have a name for him, Niles Calder, and he's in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound too. I think the chief in Titans, he was wheelchair bound by the end of it because Rachel actually knocked him out so much he broke his back again. But with this one, he is in a wheelchair. No mention of what his accident is, again, probably in future episodes. But yeah, again, this chief definitely seems a lot different, a lot more like firm but fairer. Like he seems like he's the one who genuinely wants to help them, and sometimes kind of chastises them for making the wrong decisions because he wants to protect them. So yeah, and I think again his protection is kind of questionable because he lied to Cliff in an attempt to protect him because he knew if that he told him his daughter was alive, or revealed the truth of his daughter's living status to him, then Cliff would be all the more inclined to seek her out and stuff like that. And then, obviously it being 2019, the internet is a thing. Jane reveals to him that, there's at least 3 Cliff Steeles alive in the town, or the state, wherever they are. But, it's the internet. There's definitely proof out there that his daughter is alive. And then Cliff, upon hearing that, just couldn't really accept it. So yeah, I think it would be cool to see. I'd say it would be cooler to see them actually interacting with the modern world, but that's exactly what they did. Actually, Jane actually took them out into town, and they actually went into town to the bar and the diner and the park and everything, and they actually went there. And then it's after that things actually went to go downhill. Larry and Rita began to destabilize, and then even Jane destabilized. She unleashed her more aggressive persona on the cops, and then Rita further destabilized and became the giant terrifying blob that everyone was so scared of. So things really escalated highly. Things really escalated quickly, and the team was needed to reform themselves once again. So yeah, fun stuff. But yeah, no, as a pilot, I love it. As a pilot, I love this episode. It's a really, really good episode. Even if there's a lot that goes on, it's a lot more to take in. And, again, I think it would have been easier to take in or easier to watch if it was like 2 different episodes following that kind of timeline thing. But at the same time, it was still, it was a great introduction to this series, a great introduction to this universe, to this Doom Patrol, to who these characters are. And obviously some history is still yet to be revealed and some development still yet to happen. But I think having it now move forward to the present day shows that, these guys need to be a team again. They need to actually be heroes again. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that story unfolds and what's left, what other kind of dilemmas the team faces and how they actually deal with it. Because on the other hand, I do ever so slightly get Guardians of the Galaxy vibes from this, in the sense that these guys, don't really, in the sense that for them, in some way they're somewhat unbalanced. Like, despite knowing each other, they're still unbalanced. Like, clearly, with Jane kind of having to convince everyone to actually go into town with her, everyone except Cliff, like that kind of stuff. Like they're all trying to kind of stay on neutral ground. They're all trying to stay in agreement with each other, but then some of them are still on completely different mindsets than others. And then even when even when the chief kind of gives them the ultimatum of actually staying here to protect the town, or like trying to convince them to actually go with him to leave and find a safer place. Everyone except Cliff is on board with that, so there's still some kind of mental unbalance there. They're not fully a team yet. They don't really get along on those kinds of much more major kind of scenarios, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, they are still kind of together. They're still together. They're still a family in the loosest and broadest of like definitions of the word, but that's what this season's for. That's what this season's for. In introducing these characters to us, introducing them to themselves, and actually putting them into these situations where they're forced to actually be together and to think together and to actually be cooperative. So I look forward to it all. But that was a great pilot. So I look forward to what's next to come. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got. So that was Doom Patrol, Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Doom Patrol. Once again, the uncut reaction, for those of you who want it, will be up on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.